Everybody at home there. Happy New Year to everybody. All right. I'm Sonia Lang. I'm the co-president of the Rolando Park Community Council. Okay, so I'll kind of be hosting this today. Bert, glasses. There we go. All right, so I'd like to call our meeting to order. And I want to let you know that our minutes are on our rolando.park.org website, in addition to it being recorded on Facebook. Want to go back and see it. Okay. All right, so then what I want to do is hit our dues and membership. Do we have that information?
We will not have a report this month because we want to thank Cheryl Bailey and Kara West, our treasurer and secretary, who stepped down after 4 years. Okay. They survived the pandemic, but they've had enough.
Right.
So we will be talking about it later, but we are looking for volunteers. If anyone would love to be the secretary or the treasurer, if you can manage your checkbook, you can be the treasurer.
Right. And I want to make sure, can everybody hear us at home there? Thumbs up. All right. Okay. So
we hear you.
Next on the agenda is our community announcements, which will be from Jennifer Bennett and Lynn Edwards. So I don't know who's going to start.
I do not see Jennifer yet.
Oh, I don't see Jennifer yet.
So I'm going to start. And I've already announced this, so everyone knows. Please, folks, we need a couple of new members. But step up and volunteer. All right, you're going to see that every month.
Right.
I do want to say that starting this year, because we're more proactive in our planning group, we will be doing a small announcement each month with updates about what's going on in our planning group, because it does impact us here. Some of us, John Hogan, who's maybe not on, oh, there he is, and myself and a member from Redwood Village have a subcommittee. And we've been working on a project for almost 2 years now to get a tree canopy on University Avenue, coincide with the University Bikeway project. And we've been working with Roberto from the District 9 office. And it is a budget priority this year. We just need to kick it down the road a little bit and make it a reality. So I did want to let you know that. Sorry, Jennifer, if you're online, I'm not stealing your thunder. Tomorrow night at our planning group meeting, we have another update from city engineering on the Streamview project. Actually starting to look now like it might happen next summer. That's good. And next month, city engineering will be out to talk to us about the sewer and water main project that's going to be going on in Redwood Village and Rolando Park. And all those little squiggly blue lights, those are sewer and main replacements. And it's Redwood Village, good part of Redwood Village, and a very good part of Rolando Park. So you will be getting notices from the city if you didn't get them about the work coming up. I think the first phase starts in Redwood Village. That'll start in May. Yes. And you people on Loma Alto, you will be online. I think the next section starts in July, and then there's a third phase that'll start in the fall. So pretty much this area is going to be construction for a good period of time. Yep. That will slow down the traffic a little bit. But okay. And this is sort of a pop quiz because some people will know what this is. Some people will not. This is called the Mid-City area. And we are part of the Mid-City. We're in this eastern area down here. That's us. And the reason I'm bringing this up is because the city officially launched the community plan update last month. Last time they updated the community plan was in 1998. I can tell you that having read the 1998 community plan, I haven't seen anything in the community plan that should have impacted our area and University Avenue actually happen. So they're going to be collecting a lot of input over this next year, specifically the next 6 months. There's going to be open workshops There'll be surveys online. They're actually setting up an office. They'll have office hours. People can come in. As we find out, we're going to broadcast it here because I think this is really important that everyone in the community has a say in how the city is going to develop this area. A large part of this is going to be about where to build the density. Do we want it on University, or do we want to be infilling in our community? There's lots of room on University. I think we can all agree for the density that we need. And we want to make sure that the infrastructure that we need for that growth is also there. Sorry, I'm gassing on tonight.
New Year.
And you probably can't read that, but that's a timeline for the next year. The first 6 months from starting this spring, they will start gathering input. So again, as we find out, we're going to share this. We'll email you if you're on our email list, broadcast it at meetings. So everyone has an opportunity to have a say in it. In November, we talked about capital improvement projects, our priority. And our main one here is to get completion of the sidewalk from College to University. That's actually a request that was made in 2010 from the planning group. The first section that's done is to Judy McCarty Way. That's about 20%. The next section will take us to Billman. So then we're at about 50%. And what we need is we need a sidewalk all the way to University, and that's for pedestrian safety. If you have people walking down College trying to get to University for transit, they need a safe walking. So we'll see how that goes. That's been submitted. And not last, we all know traffic is one of our bigger issues here. We have Circulate San Diego coming out. They're a mobility advocacy group, and they're coming out on the 23rd, which is Tuesday at 2 o'clock. Not going to be convenient for a lot of people, but if you are available, please show up. We're going to be meeting out here at the corner of Marlowe and Vista Grande. It's a 1-hour walk. They're going to be doing a walk audit, talking about safety features. We're going to go down Vista Grande, Celia Vista, 69th, wait, and back around so they can see some of the issues that we have. And then they will send their report to the city. It's just a recommendation to help us get better traffic calming that we need in the community. So please, if you can make it, show up. And I think that's all I have for now. Okay.
Is Jennifer present? No.
Yes. Hi.
Oh,
Hi, Jennifer.
Do you have any announcements?
Hi. Yes. Redwood Village is going to have a mini casual cleanup. And I see that Bettina is here. This was Bettina and I. We're a very casual cleanup on Sunday, January 14th at 8 a.m. And it is on, we're going to meet on Boren and Romo Street on the corner there. And it's BYOB, bring your own bag. And yeah, so we'll have a short casual meet and greet at 8 a.m. on a Sunday. And then everyone can walk any direction they want to walk and pick up trash and take that bag home and put it in their trash can. And that's about all. Thank you.
Great. Thanks, Jennifer.
Else? Good there?
Good public comments.
So moving on to our public comments on the non-agenda items. Okay. First, I want to make note. I see we have some candidate representatives not during the meeting. Okay. Okay. So anyone have any public comments?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I hear it. Go ahead.
Here comes Mr. Eric.
Yeah. With well, first of all, how's everyone tonight?
Good.
All right, well, good. And thankfully my foot is just fine too. But this nasty little piece right here, this roofer nail, found this in the midst of the never-ending, never-fixed potholes, I believe, on Hughes Street in front of Darnell Charter School. It's a project that keeps getting swept under the rug by politicians who fail their way up and politicians who end up becoming lame ducks heading into the 2024 mayoral election cycle. So if we can get this crap cleaned up, the road repaved, and get the street swept up, that would be really nice.
Yeah, it went into his shoe and fortunately did not perforate into the ball of his foot when he runs every other day through a whole circuit and in front of the school, and yeah. He knows he's not in good shape. Right,
Yeah.
Jennifer?
I don't want to disappoint you, Eric, but I think that Hughes Street is actually one of the streets that's going to be getting sewer and water main replacements starting this spring, which means that
they'll
they're
have
not
to
going to
do
be
something.
repaving the street anytime soon. But yeah, let me check, and I've got your email address. Let me get back to you tomorrow.
Yeah.
I'll check with Roberto too.
Any other comments?
I just wanted to comment on all of the fireworks that we had. Eric did call the police department on New Year's Eve at about 9:30 because they were setting off commercial grade firecrackers on 58th Street. And sometimes the police department will send out helicopters, and that really calms them down. But from about 11:45 until 12:30, we had pretty low hanging firecrackers, and there was no helicopters or anything to kind of calm that down. And the smoke was pretty bad, and the debris that happens with firecrackers, there was brush there, so it could have been a real fire problem down at the base of 58th and University area. In there is where they like to set them off. So I don't know if they would just do a sweep through periodically when we have those firecracker days. And I think there were some on the Canyon side where 58th and Hughes Street come together behind a house about 3 houses up. So they just need to, fire is a hazard. So, and this was because, and they were commercial grade fireworks, but they were being shot off too low. They weren't going real high up, and then the debris comes down on your roof. So that's all I got to say.
Thanks.
Thanks, Sandy.
All right. Haven't.
The city is in search of a new police chief in our community. We have some input on that. We're looking for like our part of the thing. So is that going to be close by our part of the community? You heard?
Yes, I can touch base on that when I get my report, but long story short, there will be a forum in Council District 9, and I'm happy to provide those details once I get my report.
Thank you, Roberto.
Thank you. Any other comments?
Is there any concern here about the street lights over here at College and View? You know,
College and Billman?
yeah, I think there's 2 lights that were finally. I fixed 2 lights, but they're still dark there.
Oh, it's closer on the Streamview side.
Corners.
On the corner.
1 light in each corner. And around Halloween time, finally fixed 2 lights.
Oh, okay.
But I know there's a backlog, and
Yeah.
makes the city almost forever to fix anything.
One path is our get it done, right? Is
Well-
more is to try to put that in, and hopefully you can get more of your neighbors to put that in as a concern.
There was someone who wrote in, I think they lived in Script Ranch,
Mhm.
and they tried all that stuff, you know, they call in and
Right.
get it fixed, and still forever.
Yeah.
It's just a kind of a false fool thing.
It's a long backlog. I know that I hope Roberto will touch on that tonight.
Yeah.
But you can always, if you file a get it done, send the get it done number to Roberto.
I know the documentation, but
Yeah.
just kind of add frustration. Because just the bully that's gonna get done.
I submitted a list last year in October of 16 streetlights to the mayor's office rep and our District 9 office. And as of the last time we talked, which was at the end of the year, we still had 5 streetlights out from that original list. And that doesn't even, you know, any new ones would still be out, but it's at least a year. So.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate we don't have any quicker path at this time. So, I mean, our best bet is to try to be persistent, you know, that it comes about.
Correct me if I'm wrong, if I may jump in. I think if the number that you receive, you submit those on the city on the process already. But if you contact them, you don't have to contact D9 or police or whatever, you just with that number itself and say, I submitted this, I don't have any feedback on it yet, and they'll get back. That's the reason for the tracking.
Oh. You call that department.
Yeah, when we get done tonight, I'll sit with you, but it's just tracking. That tracking number is all you need.
Oh, I think they'll give you a status report.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Right. All righty. Well, thank you, everybody. So we're going to move on to our community reports. We asked keep around 4 minutes. I see we have Officer Joshua Cummings, we have Roberto Marin, and we also have Willow. There's nobody else I'm missing, right?
No.
Okay, and so Joshua's first.
Oh,
So you get
The pressure's on.
oh, good evening, everybody. Hope everybody had a wonderful Christmas and a happy New Year. The fireworks were probably a blast. I didn't get to see them because it wasn't down here, but it sounds like they were really good. Sorry that our patrol guys weren't as proactive. New Year's Eve, we spent a lot of time sorting through what's a shooting and what's possibly not and where the fire hazards are. So it gets a little chaotic, so bear with us on those holidays. It's rather tough with our staffing. A couple points of friction, I like to call them, I'd like to touch on. Some of them are a little bit big. Choice Parkway. So there's a few things that have been happening down there. The encampments are never ending. It's very consistent, on and off. We shut it down. It becomes a hot spot relatively quickly. Again, however, recently Path was able to go out there. They were able to house 5 people from that encampment to the safe camping area. So that's 5 that's removed at least from the encampment. There is a couple remaining. One of them just did not want to have any kind of conversation or outreach or, communication with Path at all. Wouldn't talk to me. I've talked to them every day, just about. I've been at work since NPD has went through there to clean that up. One thing I did hear is that SDGE is supposed to be doing some sort of construction project down there soon.
Yes.
So that's going to put an end to some of that, along with the park that's, I'll let Lynn cover that a little bit more, but that'll also obviously change that dynamic a bit. So I've definitely liaised with the storage facility there, talked to them. I've talked to a couple other outreach people there that are now joining our homeless coalition meetings. So, we're continuing to put the pressure there. As soon as we can deal with some of the encampments and stuff, we can move on to the oversized vehicle ordinance. The encampments are just priority given the fact of the drug use and all the things that come with that. The water tower, as far as that goes, I've been out personally and toured the water tower area. I have seen it. There was a couple of encampments there. I did talk to them. I also forwarded all the email traffic that I've received to our neighborhood policing division, who was supposed to send a squad out that way. So I will revisit that this week. And I think that that's causing a lot of the issues, the thefts and things of that nature, casing of vehicles along 58th Street in Danish area. So I'm continuing to put pressure on that. Speeding wise, I did forward those links. Did anyone utilize those extra patrol request links by chance, or anyone submit any of those? Okay, so if anyone needs it, I will forward them again to Lynn if she needs it. Make sure we're doing that because that's the only way to get traffic over here, to provide that extra patrol to start to do some enforcement and slow some people down. Arrest of significance. There was a robbery suspect who also was causing various violent disturbances. I don't know if anyone saw, but he was basically at the corner of like college and university area, waving knives and bowls and all kinds of things around. Generated numerous calls for service. She is in custody for I think a few felony cases, so she'll be off the street for a little while. But she was a rather tough one to deal with. Joe Lars came up. I received some emails about Joe Lars. I've sent extra patrol requests to all of our sergeants to basically send out to all their patrol teams. So hopefully that's happening. If anybody sees anything and, or, you know, other activity that we're not aware of, please send me an email so I can continue to build that information with patrol teams. Xena Canyon, has anyone seen Mike lately?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought it was still there. Oh, yeah.
Every day.
So, There was Mike. So Mike, I talked to the gentleman that owns the US or the cleaners there, and he essentially was supposed to be getting a TRO against him or trying to do a stay away order type deal. I'll touch base with him again because the holiday block kind of threw a loophole and everything, and you know, everybody's on the holiday routine. So I'll see if we can get that because that's our best probably.
He even walks through all that rain. He was just out there just.
And I wish we could, it's hard to get him to want help.
Oh, we don't.
Outreach. Yeah, no, he's been there for a long time. So we'll continue to do that. I just want everyone to know I'm not forgetting about Mike.
Okay.
Mike is very much on my list, along with Xena Canyon. And then lastly, for now, with the Get It Dones, we're still getting a lot of Get It Dones, and good, right, to get It Dones, but keep in mind that there's no dispatcher for Get It Dones, okay? So continue to spread the word because we're seeing these Get It Dones that come in of like, there's a car blocking my driveway, there's a loud party next door. There is a barking dog, a noise complaint, whatever it is. And the issue with the Get It Done, or God forbid, a guy ODing on fentanyl, which happened. And some of these Get It Dones, because when there's no dispatcher, there's things that need to be getting dispatched and eval, right, for dispatch. So if we're doing a Get It Done for something that gets dispatched, and then the complaint is, well, the police aren't showing up. Well, it's buried in a Get It Done system that is largely for transient related encampments and things. And if it's an emergency, like you need to leave for an emergency, you can't because your driveway is blocked, or someone is having a medical emergency, the Get It Done is a non-option. So please continue to pass that around to everyone in the community that Get It Done is not used for those types of things, okay? Because we're seeing a lot of that, and it's alarming to me because God forbid somebody passes away, or you know, somebody's obviously they're disabled or whatever it is because we couldn't get to them in time because it was an actual emergency. So please continue to pass that on. Anybody got anything for me? Yes, sir.
The place across the street from me, they're parking on the side of the street, they're double parking. Yeah.
And are they the owners of that cement mixer that sits in the grate too?
And speak of Get It Done, I put it on 5 months ago. This thing.
Interesting. Yeah, the Get It Done system it's rather difficult right now because it's getting overwhelmed with so many other types of things that are clogging, in my opinion, clogging up that system. I've even, again, brought that to the attention at the Eastern Planning Committee when a guy, app developer was there. I talked to him about the Get It Done and how it's become, you know, there's issues with it when it comes to this type of stuff. And then there's those issues that need to get through that system that now become clogged in that system that's overwhelmed. So I'll meet with you again offline after, and we'll talk a little bit about it. I think code enforcement had an open case on that. So let's revisit that.
Yeah, sorry to pop the fire at the house. I'll catch on fire and he just look at me like, you know, speaking French and stuff.
It's a good way to get your car either yanked out or your windows broken out. Yeah. Yeah, we'll talk offline on that one address so we can get with code. Anybody else? Anything of significance to talk about?
Do you still prefer that we put a patrol request? We have late night prowlers in our neighborhood.
Yes, I would do that. I would also call. I encourage everyone to call. Yeah, on everything. The issue is if you're not calling and the officers are buried in calls because we've had a lot of violent crime lately, in the Colina Sol, and then over into our 30s service area, Gulf Park and all that area. So if you're not calling to pull the resource towards you where you need that extra patrol, I can put in the extra patrol and I'm working on a project this year is to build more continuity between the patrol officers and the communities, along with building more continuity with beat responsibility and long-term beat assignment. So that officer that gets assigned, say, Rolando Park, he is in Rolando Park for a year. That's what I'd like to see. And then I'd like to see that officer come to these community meetings when they're on our swing shift because it falls within their shift. And I'd like them to feel the support that the community offers, but I'd also like, you guys to know who that officer is. So that's something I'm working on this year. And that's going to go hopefully come a long ways because that relationship is what is important. It doesn't, for me to feel everything and the support that you guys have is wonderful. The officer that's coming to that call at 3 o'clock in the morning, even more important for me. So that's the stuff I want to build in. However, in the short term, continue, call. I don't care if it's a bump in the middle of the night, you're not bothering us. We're the police department. That's what we're here for. But if you're not calling and you're not pulling, and that resource is getting pulled somewhere else, and your issues are going to, possibly go a little unnoticed, and it's frustrating. And I agree. I'd be frustrated too. You have every right to feel that way. But we do the best we can with what we have. A lot of these calls have become complex under the, with the new stuff that we're dealing with de-escalation and things. It takes a lot of officers per call to deal with these issues safely and maneuver them, the right way. So either way, continue to call. And the short answer is call.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Can we ask a question?
All right, next up.
Officer,
Oh,
sorry. Hi. So I walked on Xena to go to the canyon the other day and I felt very unsafe. I was followed. So what's the best course of action for that? And also, is that 2 neighbors down, they also felt the same way. They felt very unsafe. We want to walk the canyon. So what's the best course of action?
I'm sorry, were you in the canyon?
We were at the trailhead of the canyon. Yeah, on Xena.
Okay. I guess the biggest thing there is if you're in the canyon, that's the problem. It's no trespassing in the canyon.
No, we weren't in the canyon.
Oh, okay.
We were
just on the street
trailhead of the canyon on Xena.
Oh, okay.
But are you telling me we can't go into the canyon?
Yes. I live across the street. So,
Okay.
so that's why I'm trying to figure out where you were located.
Okay.
But no, it's no trespassing into there's no trail walking in the canyon.
Oh, it doesn't say that. So that's very
Yeah, it has a no trespassing sign there.
okay. I haven't noticed that, but
Yeah.
I also was being followed on Xena.
Oh, okay. So it's
Very
on Xena.
uncomfortable. Yeah.
Yeah.
So no one's allowed in the canyon is what you're telling me.
Right.
So there's the trailhead does not allow people to walk in there.
So you see that ballard, that big metal thing in the middle of that opening? It's to
No,
block it.
I'll look next
There's
time.
there's the fence there, and then there's a ballard to block, but there's also a no trespassing sign.
Okay, so is that area just totally off limits?
The whole canyon is. You can walk, of course, along the street, along the sidewalk.
Okay, so what is that canyon there for then?
It belongs to the school. It's it's not public property.
Okay. Great to know.
So if there are people in the canyon, then what?
Yeah. We see people in that canyon often, but good to know.
Right. That's part of our problem.
Yeah.
I believe me, I'm a resident. I live right across the street. So yes.
Okay, I'll wave at you when I walk by. So I felt
But
very
as far as
safe
you
on
being
that
followed,
street.
yeah, I'll let Josh make a comment to that.
Yeah, I've been followed on that street and I've had a truck like pull over and stare at me, and it's not been comfortable. And our neighbor has experienced a similar issue. So just wondering if that area is an issue.
As far as being followed, not that I've heard, I know late at night, there's some prowling stuff that's happening in this area that's been very much brought to our attention. But as far as the being followed part, no, I haven't heard anything. No one's called in. There's been no radio calls about being followed. I know Mike has been the subject of multiple, probably about 150 radio calls. I'm just guessing, I'm sorry.
Yeah, but
No, it's close.
But,
Okay. Yeah.
but you should, if you're being followed, I mean, I would direct you to go to the shopping center where there's people, right? And then get on a phone and maybe grab a ride, call the police, have one of us, a police officer come out, see if they can contact that person. That would be my best advice.
And to your question, as I said, I live right there. No, it's not common. It's kind of unusual. I've never heard that nor experienced it on the street. But you know, things are changing, unfortunately.
Okay, thank you. We do love our neighbors, so
Yeah,
that's great to know. Thank you so
yeah.
much.
Yes. And to Terry's point, that's a 911. Just to let everybody know, that's an emergency call, right? All right. Well, thank you very much, Josh. All right, so we're going to move on to Willow Lance, Congresswoman Sarah Jacobs' office representative.
Hi, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Some updates from our office. The House of Representatives is back in session this week. They're going to be voting on various bills and have to follow up if anybody has questions about them. But before adjourning for the holiday break, Congresswoman Jacobs and the rest of the House voted to pass the annual defense spending budget. This included some big wins for San Diego, including improving access to quality housing, helping put food on the table, and lowering the cost of childcare. And the president signed it into law a couple weeks ago. And then for the holiday season, the Congresswoman was in town. She attended several holiday celebrations, including the Rolando Town Council, the San Carlos Area Town Council, the Claremont Town Council, and then the Kensington Town Managed Business Association various holiday. Also, this past year, our office assisted 2,691 constituents, returning almost $19 million to constituents through federal casework. And we secured over 270 federal grants for California's 51st. So this is a great reminder if you're having problems with federal agency, please let me know, come help you out. That's all I got, unless people have questions for me.
Any questions?
Not a question, but I would like to thank Congresswoman Jacobs for attending the Spirit of Giving event that we had at Choice Lake. That was a total surprise. She just showed up. So yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, Will. All right, last but not least, Roberto Marin from our City Council President, Sean Elo Rivera.
Good evening to everyone. Happy New Year. If you don't know me, my name is Roberto Marin, community representative with Council President Sean Elo Rivera's office. Happy to be here as always. Just want to give a couple major updates. I'll touch on Mr. Castro and I have been speaking on the phone many times. That's how I know him. Yeah, I think it's key for everyone, someone that works in government, to understand that even me, myself, and the council president get extremely upset and frustrated at the way the city is being managed, at the way that the city is being funded, where the money's going, how the Get It Done app is being used. So we're really cognizant of those issues. I myself, for example, what I do, streetlights, whatever, I try that method, right? I try to do it on my own. I'll be honest with you, 75% of the time, it doesn't work, you know? And so that's why constituency work, that's where our office steps in. That's where our office really gets into the bread and butter of these issues, right? Mr. John had an issue with his asphalt and the water going into his property. I'm happy to say that the transportation department has approved to do the reconstruction so that he doesn't have that problem, right? So those are the things that we really rely on and really emphasize. It does get frustrating, and I understand Lynn has sent me this speech many times, right? Continue to reach out to me. I have cards. I will pick up 7 days a week. If it's 12 a.m., I probably might not, but I'll probably pick up on Sunday or Saturday. But I'm here to help. We're all here to help. We're all here to make Rolando Park a better place. And for someone that I grew up in La Mesa, I run through these streets. My best friend lives on T. Willow Lane. Got an aunt that lives on near Hughes in that area. So I know and I have experienced those issues that we all have long had. And so seeing those results is what refreshes my mind. So streetlights, I'll talk about real quick. They are in Council District 9. I did submit it to Lucero. Not only did I submit it, I submitted to her Deputy Chief of Staff engagement, Michaela Valk. So I made sure that we got that listed, made sure we added that, made sure we adjusted those lights for Mr. Castro. So we're really working on making sure we streamline that process. So anytime you have a street light, please let me know. There's always ways to fix this. They can put a solar light up. It's that simple, right? You just gotta let me know. And I'll have information in the back. So that's that. We have exciting news. I know we cleaned out the Rolando channel in the back with trash. People were wondering, okay, well, that's great, but when's the vegetation gonna leave? I'm proud to say that they're gonna start that next month, early next month. They're gonna do what's called dredging. So if you've seen what's going on in Rancho Bernardo, they're like straight out clearing everything. They're gonna clear out starting from the border of La Mesa and San Diego, so on 69th, I believe, all the way down to Choice Creek. That's all gonna get eliminated. So no vegetation, no sediments. They're gonna fix the walls. So that's a huge win for Rolando Park. And it wouldn't be possible without all you guys here, without Lynn, without Jennifer, without John. So we're really making progress, and I'm happy to report that. That's one of those. The second thing is, as they were mentioning, the Hughes nightmare that I've seen many times with potholes. They're almost done with the undergrounding, from what I'm told. They're going to be revamping the crosswalks in and around the area. I presented those plans to Jennifer Bennett from Redwood Village. I'm happy to share that with everyone else who lives in that area, so you can see what that looks like. Repaving is, again, it might take a little longer, but in the intermediate, please send me the get-it-dones for potholes. They're supposed to be taking a certain amount of time. Once it hits 20 days, it's 21st day, you pick up the phone, you let me know. That's kind of how things work. So I'll finish with that. Choice Parkway, I want to give a huge shout out to Officer Cummings. He does a lot of work, and I just want to say thank you on the part of our office, because not only it's your job to do it, but it's also our job to collaborate and do those work. So we're really finding solutions on Choice Parkway. We have a meeting with the mayor's office about that and a couple of residents. So we're gaining traction, and I'm hopeful that once this park is completed, which right now they're looking at abandoning that area between July and September. So it's coming up. So it's coming up pretty soon, and we're all relieved for that. The last thing I want to point out is Council President Elo Rivera will be at the Southeastern Planning Group meeting. Now you're wondering, why are you telling me this? The reason why is we all want to understand how CIP projects work, how their criteria is made. So staff was a little stingy with me. They're being a little stingy with our office, and they only said they could provide that to Southeastern Planning Group. I know you're Rolando residents, but I would highly encourage you, if you're really wanting to see the CIP process and you really want to see how it works, the criteria, how they're projected, basically, I would highly recommend you going there. Council President will be there actually giving updates on what he's planning on to do this year. And so that's another way to get involved in the community. So those are pretty much it. I'm going to be at the walk audit, and we're hoping I'll collaborate with Lynn, Bettina, and John and Jennifer to do another dumpster day. So I know a lot of folks like that idea. So yeah. Any questions for anyone?
When is that meeting going to be? The planning group?
So it's going to be in February. It's going to be in the middle of this meeting. But I would suggest if you want to send someone, just one person, that would be great. Because again, they really wanted to give us a Zoom meeting.
Because I was going to ask, is there a Zoom opportunity?
Yeah, they told us a Zoom meeting. We told them that's not right. We need an in-person meeting. That's why the city pays these people to do their job, right? So we made sure that we got them in person. Unfortunately, it's only at that meeting. But yeah, I would highly encourage you.
Okay.
Yeah. Any questions?
Yeah, I have one question for you. A few months ago, a pedestrian was killed at the College and Streamview intersection. Has there been any movement on that?
I don't know, but all I know is this upcoming month, we're going to be working on a safe streets policy. So basically, we're going to be revamping what safe streets look like, what the policy is on traffic evaluations, making it easier for communities to get the measures that they deserve. So that's the thing that we're going to be working on the most these next couple months.
You know,
John?
regarding that, I saw the police that responded to this man that was hit there on College and Streamview, and sometime later, when the lights were all dark, I was driving at the same intersection in the evening, and as I was turning the corner to go on College, and the way I drive, I call it a double check system. So I saw someone just coming, crossing, and I almost hit him. But because I had that hesitation about just not driving through, I kind of slowed down, and I suspect someone, especially because it was dark. So I almost hit someone there sometime later because the intersection was so dark.
Yeah, and someone that has ran through these streets quite literally and ran down College Avenue on that very sketchy bike path that I don't even know why I ran under. It is needed, and something that I've told the council president when we do our one-on-ones is, I really want him to come out here and walk the community, not only walk it, but really cross the street, look and take his time to really look at what's going on. So he told me he's going to plan on starting to do that next month. So we're looking to hopefully be in the Rolando area, I think February or March. So we're going to walk the community. So I will give details if you want to come join and walk, kind of like a walk and talk with the council president. So yeah, I'll put that on.
I just talked with a neighbor about that happened over an hour.
Yeah.
So the neighbor said, well, there's been, and I think I've seen some remains of accidents, and there's kind of a high incidence of accidents. It's just so much volume of traffic and speed of traffic. It's kind of, in a way, similar to the 54th. I drive that too. Going down to University, it's going downhill, and some drivers go down pretty fast. I try to avoid that in the street myself, but because of the volume and the speed, it's kind of like an high accident area.
I'll say one last thing, Sonia. I know we got time. But yeah, I agree. I think from someone that has run, someone that has quite literally kind of lived in the Rolando Park area, I literally understand the safety concerns. I mean, there was one time where I literally crossed the street running, I almost got hit, right? So that's the type of people we need in office, right? People that are from this area, but that also understand the issues, right? And that's something that I'm really proud of, and our office is proud of. We have people that have lived in the area or still continue to live, right? So it's not like I'm saying something out of my brain, right? It's something that I've literally witnessed. So,
All right.
yeah.
Thank you, Roberto. Thank you, everybody. All right. So the next two items, first, we're going to do an informational item. And then at around 8:05, we're going to start working on our 2024 community priorities. Okay. So our informational item, it's going to be a follow-up of our November meeting where we had the SOAP map. And I do see, okay. Yeah.
Melanie's on.
See Melanie on the screen there. Program leads and Melanie, Local Opioid Treatment Authority Program Coordinator for the County of San Diego Health and Human Services Agency, is joining us to address our concerns for the new treatment facility that's going to be on University in the Rolando Plaza. So I will hand it on over to Melanie.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Thank you for having me back. Happy New Year, everyone. My name is Melanie Briones. Can you all hear me okay?
Yes.
Perfect. Thank you. And this evening, I have with me Mark Gonzalo, the program director of the SOAPMAT opioid treatment program that will be joining this central region area on University Avenue. And what I'd like to do is, one, if there are, I do think I see some new folks today, this evening. So what I'd like to do is very, very quickly explain my role at the County of San Diego Health and Human Services Behavioral Health Services Department. As the Local Opioid Treatment Authority, or the LOTA, my role is to serve as the primary liaison between external stakeholders such as yourselves and elected officials, researchers, anybody who has an interest in our contracted opioid treatment programs at the county and with our contracted providers such as SOAPMAT. So if there are questions, concerns, interest in our contracted opioid treatment programs, some folks continue to call our OTPs methadone clinics, but they are much more than that. And I will let Mark talk about that. OTPs, if there's interest, I'm the person that one would contact for questions. And then I can route those questions to the best person within our county to address those questions. A lot of times it is with our program specifically, directly, but more often than not, the questions can be answered by our contracting officers within the county. I meet with other community councils such as Webster and Oak Park. And in November, I did meet with you all, Rolando Park, and I'm happy to bring here Mark Gonzalo because, like I said, SOAPMAT will be opening a brand new facility on University Avenue to provide services in the area. And these are for opioid treatment services and clinical services in a healthcare facility. So I would like to introduce again, Mark Gonzalo, just to share some information, and please share your questions with us so that we can address them. And with that, I would like to have Mark introduce himself. Thanks.
Thank you, Melanie, and thank you to this committee for having me again. I trust everyone had a pleasant holiday season. I am Mark Gonzalo, Director and Regional Director for SOAPMAT LLC. SOAPMAT is an acronym for Stop Opioid Addiction Program, Medication Assisted Treatment. Our primary focus in our clinics is to, number one, prevent the unnecessary deaths due to opioid overdoses. We are a behavioral health clinic as well as a medical facility as well. So we utilize medication-assisted treatment in assisting these individuals overcome their dependency on illicit and licit opioids. What that consists of primarily is behavioral health counseling, both individual and family, case management services to connect our patient population to needed social services, and as well as the medical component of the medication to combat the opioid withdrawal, which is primarily the reason for continued opioid use. We will also be the medications that we'll be utilizing. Methadone is one. We're also utilizing buprenorphine and several forms of buprenorphine, such as Suboxone. We'll also be providing our patients with Narcan to reverse overdose symptoms and possibly save lives. That's been key in a lot of our life-saving efforts here. So we have been contracted with the county behavioral health service rights to provide OTP services, opioid treatment, in this area, in the central San Diego area. We had decided on the 6425 University address because it was the most central to the population that we will be serving. I know the county has done a lot of research, which could be available to you through Melanie. So some of the research as to why these services are needed in that particular area. First and foremost, we want to be very transparent and very open in our communication and our coordination with the community that we are serving. I will be attending these meetings, with your permission, of course, to field questions, to discuss, to educate, to assist, hopefully to calm some fears and doubts and maybe clear up some misunderstandings about what treatment really is for opioid use disorder. We are serving the people most vulnerable to this disease of addiction. We are serving the people who are your neighbors, perhaps your family members. Perhaps these are the people who you see and the people who you don't see that are suffering and dying. We want to coordinate our services with the community we serve, as well as the police department, as well as other social services that are within the area. I myself had worked just up the street in University for many years with the Union of Pan Asian Communities in their mental health capacity there. So that area, and I live literally 10 minutes away from the Ronald Park area. So I'm very familiar with that part of the county. We're currently operating in the North County, San Diego, but we're very excited to bring our unique services. And I do say unique because I know some of the fears and the misconceptions about treating opioid use disorders really does originate from this type of modality being done for decades very poorly. And, there's not enough time in this meeting to go over what contributes to that. But one of the things that SOAPMAT is very proud of in being granted this contract to serve that area is that we have provided proof, what we call metrics and outcome measures, to show that our patient population has benefited from the services that we have. And we want to replicate our unique model in the area of Central San Diego. What that's going to need, though, what we will need from you, we want to hear your input. What does the Rolando community want to see from SOAPMAT that would make this something that you can say, yes, this is important to have here? We can discuss, for hours, why here? Why not here? Why not put a clinic here? Well, please tell me, what would make it to where he said, wait, hey, we're happy that you're here. That's what we want to know. We can talk about the scientific data and the research and everything, but really, when it comes down to it, you, the community, you have an emotional connection to your community and investment in your community. I want to know, what can SOAPMAT do for you to make it feel worthwhile to have us there?
So what I'd like to do is open it up. What I want to do is open it up to questions, but what I want to do is ask that you ask only one question till everyone has had an opportunity. And if you have comments, to keep your comments to a minimum, maybe about a minute, because I'm sure there's possibly a lot of comments and questions. And I want to try to get to as many people as possible before our 8:05, because we have some other things we would like to address. So let's get started. Who has questions? Comments? Okay, let's see the first hand, Perry.
Yeah. Thank you for your presentation, and I can't look glasses. I still can't see the name. His first name?
Mark.
Thank you for that presentation, and the work that you do is absolutely invaluable. My only question is, there was a methadone clinic up off of El Cajon Boulevard at 50th Street, just a little bit west of, it was actually between Winona and 50th. And it created all sorts of issues for the community. And the reason why is the people that went there, your clients, were amazing. They went there because they knew this is their ticket to get healthy, and everyone in the community, everyone supported that. But unfortunately, there were dealers and everything else that was trying to misguide them, and we're also there selling. And PD just did not have the bodies to be a security guard there. So one of the things, I think it was Chris, who was the manager at the time that we had a really good relationship with, we kept asking, could they provide a like a security guard to help keep that area free of people selling. And I don't know if that's an option, but again, we really understand the importance of what you do, and we just hope it's a success, and anything we can do to help with that, just please let us know.
So is that your question? Will they have security? Is that a question?
Yeah.
So Mark,
Yes.
will you have security?
Yes, we will. We currently have security at our Oceanside facility, and we will have on-site security during operating hours, shortly before and shortly after closing operational hours. We contract with Armor One Security. They are especially trained with de-escalation techniques, and they are they're licensed, and we contract with them. We've been contracted with them for many years now and have very positive outcomes with them. So yes, just shortly too, just to speak, when a clinic's patient population has behavioral health issues that seem to negative behavioral health issues that continue to compound. Yes, it is the environment partly, but also I'm not disparaging any program, but it is incumbent upon us as a program to make sure that the changes, the positive changes that our patients are coming to us we need to provide that opportunity and guide them in the right way. When you have a large patient population that is getting worse, I can only infer that something's not being done correctly within the program. That is something that is measured, like I said, in our outcome measures. And I'll be very happy to continually update the community on our outcome measures, how we're doing.
Yeah. Next question.
Hi, and thanks so much for what you all do at BHS. I'm just wondering, in regards to your referrals, how do we refer, or do people just at the intake, they walk in, or is that process hard to refer
No, not
someone?
at all. At its our very core is increasing access to needed care. So we will be operating Monday through Friday, brand new intakes. So, and walk-ins are welcome, no appointment necessary. The only caveat is on the weekends, we don't have a medical staff to conduct intakes. So our operational hours will be 5 a.m. to 2 p.m. Monday through Friday. On the weekends, we have a very short window just for medication dispensing, and we have limited staff during the weekend. Security will be on site all 7 days.
So, Vicki, you had a question or comment?
For your security people, are they going to be inside the building, or are they going to be outside the building so people can, recognize their presence?
Yes, they will be outside the building. They will be directly visible to any and all people who are in the Rolando Plaza.
Great.
And in front of our door, we'll also have personnel coming in and out, just to make sure that, for our patients' safety as well, that they know that they're in a safe, secure environment.
Great. And just to share one other thing, for the clinic down near Euclid Federal Avenue, a lot of people were concerned about the sharps that were left around, and you can attest to these individuals are not using sharps or needles, correct, for the administration of their drug?
No, we do not provide any needle exchange. We do not utilize any syringes for the medication that we use.
Yeah.
All the medications are oral, either in tablet form or oral form, which must be ingested in the presence of a medical employee when they are on site.
And I only bring that up because people in the community felt that patients from some of these clinics were responsible for sharps being left around, and clearly that was not where the source of it was. So thank you. Good luck with the facility, and just make sure that people keep it clean in front of it, because those appearances make a world of difference. Thank you.
Absolutely. And, that is a big priority in our renovation of that particular suite. It may stick out as a sore thumb because it might look prettier than the rest of the plaza. That is our priority.
All right. Next question, Edith.
I just wanted to know, you offer several different services. The people who come to your clinic, is it like an a la carte and they get to choose, or do you have a plan, or how exactly does that work?
If you could clarify the question, choose in what sense?
Well, you offer medication, you offer what you said was behavioral health or whatever. So what I'm just saying is that, do they just get to choose what they partake of at your site, or do you have a program or a plan by which includes certain things? And if they're part of your clinic, they are on that program, or do they can just get whatever they choose to receive there?
Good. Yeah, excellent question. So the medication really is up to the patient, but it has to be an informed collaboration between the patient and the medical director. So, the medical director will, of course, determine what is the best medication to treat their opioid withdrawal symptoms. However, all patients, if they're receiving services from SOAPMAT, are required to attend individual counseling. It is part of our state licensure. It is part of our federal accreditation that we include, and all OTPs have to do this, that behavioral health counseling is a major component. Now that includes, several different strategies, relapse prevention, and, with the addition of our case management services, filling the gaps in some of the services that we don't directly provide, but getting those patients connected with those, such as primary care. You'd be surprised how many patients don't even have a primary care physician or haven't seen a doctor in years, even though they may have Medi-Cal or even private insurance. They don't have a primary care. So we're going to be there to fill those gaps or get them connected.
Mark, can you describe the facility, the number of employees, and the number of anticipated patients daily?
So we are going to be licensed for a maximum of 750 patients. We will have a staff of roughly 42 to 45 individuals. That includes clinicians, counselors, case managers, nursings, LVNs, RNs, as well as a medical director who's an MD licensed in the state of California. And we will have front office staff to assist patients in navigating the intake process. We want to be, like I said, we're going to have to be, our security will be present, so they'll be on site at all times. We want to make sure that it's a safe environment. So we have to abide by state regulations as far as the amount of staff, clinicians that we have to have. We want to keep caseloads low, no more than 50 patients to a counselor. It's going to be a pretty big facility, so we're going to have a lot of room to utilize for counseling services and case management services. It will be secured and alarmed. We haven't begun construction yet. We just finalized things with the contractor, but it is going to be a very safe and secured environment.
Let me see if there's anybody else who wants to come back to you. Okay, so we have Lynn.
Yeah, Mark, you said about 750 patients plus about 40 to 45. Is that daily? 750 patients?
No, it would not be daily. No.
Okay.
It's a maximum capacity of a month census.
Okay. My concern here is because it's going to have an impact on traffic. This is already a traffic impacted neighborhood.
Mm-hmm.
We know they're not going to come in on University. They are going to be cutting right through the neighborhood to get to this facility. So those numbers sort of alarm us a little bit in terms of the volume of traffic coming through the neighborhood.
Yes, well, we have a very, strict policy on loitering. If a patient is receiving their medication and not seeing their counselor, they come in, they medicate, they leave.
Mm-hmm.
Security will be enforcing that rigorously. Like I said, part of the reason we chose this area is the amount of public transportation that's available in that area. There's literally a bus stop right there along the sidewalk. So that was a big factor in deciding where we wanted to locate. Part of what we do is, of course, assisting patients in viable transportation means, whether that means getting them back on their feet so that they can drive or self-transport, so they don't have to cut through neighborhoods, or getting them on public transportation. We can go in a lot of details on what that all entails and what that looks like, but that is, one of the priorities that we want to, provide is that self-sufficiency in the patients that we serve, get them to that point.
To expand on that, you made the comment of, there's no loitering and so forth, but when you think about, I assume you're aware of maybe the homeless encampments in our area over there. And I just think about.
Yeah, there's literally 3 people encamped in the alleyway behind the facility, which we are going to need to enlist the help of the city to address that.
Okay. My thing is here is that there's an enforcement of loitering, but then I would imagine that only goes to a limit, right? In front of your facility, as far as their security. I think saying that, my concern is then if it goes outside of your facility, we worry about more people maybe loitering around the area.
Right. Yeah. Within visual range of our security, of course, and our security, they will be patrolling the parking lot at the very least, and moving people along if they identify those people, those individuals as our patients. Our patients are oriented upon intake about the rules and the regulations, and continually throughout their treatment. That this is a very we want this to be a safe place for all people, especially our neighbors. We want to enforce a good neighbor policy. Part of your recovery is being a good neighbor and understanding that there are some expectations when you're out and about within this community.
Okay.
That number threw me. That's a large number, 750. How many security are you going to have, and what's their authority? And will they go through the whole shopping center? Because the shopping center doesn't just stop right there at the gym. It goes clear around the corner. All the way over to Aragon. How are you going to have the whole shopping center?
Yeah, we'll have a minimum of 2 security guards that we will have on site. One to be closer to the entrance and visible to all clientele, and one patrolling the parking lot. Anywhere a potential patient may park or arrive on the premises, that security guard will be looking at that area.
All right.
Mark, thank you for all that you're doing, and I know the community really appreciates your efforts. My question to you is there any kind of consequence? This place is going to draw a lot of people from all over the county, if you will, and they're going to be in our area and they're going to loiter around. In the event that one of your clients commits numerous crimes in the surrounding area, is there like a default, you commit these things or whatever it is, a consequence per se of you can no longer be in our program?
Yes, absolutely. No patient is immune from the consequences of negative behavior, especially those that impact the safety and well-being of our staff and mutual patients, as well as surrounding neighbors. We've had to do that, but that is part of the recovery process, is understanding that, hey, if you're not acting right, you're not progressing in your recovery, then there are consequences. That could mean our security may have to call the police. Our security may, our staff may have to decide to transfer you to another facility or to even a higher level of care. An outpatient just coming in here on your own volition may not be enough for you. You need to be in an inpatient residential type of program. Those are things that we vet on a daily basis with all of our patients. So yes, absolutely, no patient who is disruptive is allowed to participate in the program.
So I'm going to take 2 more questions, and then we'll move on. So next question.
Yes, Mark, I wondered about the person. Do they have a diagnosis, like a dual diagnosis? They also have a psychiatric problem, and with that medication, do you is it something that you administer it? Then do you monitor that person for a while, or do they just take the medicine and then maybe they get seen by a counselor? I just wondered, that medicine, something that's kind of, how long is that treatment? Is it like come in every week, or how does it depend on the person? But the other thing is possibly they have a dual diagnosis, so they need to also get psychiatric treatment.
Correct. Well, all our clinicians, our counselors are going to be trained in treating dual diagnosis patients. Our case management services will be connecting people for psychiatric and mental health services outside of our particular program. Our medication is not a psychoactive or is not primarily used to treat any mental health disorder. It is just the medication that we use is to combat the opioid withdrawal symptoms.
But it's, many of the persons, they have a psychiatric diagnosis. Well, many of them do have dual diagnosis.
Yes, many of the patients that we serve are dual diagnosed. And many of them will have it, but are not diagnosed. And that's when they come to us, we identify that, and we will connect them to the services that is most viable for them to treat their mental illness. You know, a lot of times the addiction and the mental illness, you know, they are hand in hand, and it's hard to separate the two. That's why, you know, the what we do and how we do things really is we have to look at the patient as a whole, not just somebody that just comes through. They're not a number to us. You know, we understand if they're coming to us, some part of them is still hanging on to a glimmer of hope that they can turn things around. We do not want to betray them.
Thank you.
So as we see more questions, we're going to go ahead and continue on with the questions. We'll do a summary of our priorities, and then we'll do our priorities next meeting. So Michelle?
Can you tell us what your business hours are going to be, what times you'll be seeing clients, what time the client can be expected to be off premise, so we residents will know what time if we see lawyers, we can call the police?
Okay, so Monday through Friday, we're operational hours 5 a.m. to 2 p.m. Saturday and Sunday, we're operating from 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. Holidays, we're on a very limited number of hours, 7 a.m. to 9:30 a.m. on holidays. We are required per our license to be able to dispense medication 7 days a week, including holidays.
So the last patient will be gone by 2. Your door closed, they're gone.
Correct. We're required by DEA. If we tell the DEA we stop dispensing at 2, we have to lock our doors at 2. So if a patient rolls in at 2:01, sorry, I can't bring you in. The pumps are down. The nurses are no longer authorized to dispense medication after 2 p.m.
All right, so we have a few questions in our chat here.
Also, Bettina.
Oh, did I see?
Go ahead, Bettina.
Go ahead.
Thank you. Two-part question. Where are most of your patient referrals from, and how are you funded?
So we are funded through the behavioral health services with the county. We used to be a direct service provider to the state, but since 2018, contracting with the county, the majority of our Medi-Cal funding comes from the county of San Diego. We also take various numbers of private insurance. Medicare is one that we're able to bill for. Out of pocket, you know, for those out of pocket, it's a very flat fee of $300 per month. And you know, we have payment plans available to anyone that wants to get help. See, security, or let's see, I'm just going over the questions here. How long is our contract with the county? Melanie, please maybe refresh my memory. Is it 3 or 5 years?
Got it. It's a 3-year contract with 2 option years. So these are option years that are standard contracts, and that means as long as everything is going well with the contract is renewed, and as long as the county requires these services, which we do anticipate, the contracts are renewed every year thereafter. So up to 5 years, and then contracts are put up for bid again.
Keep in mind, we are one of the most highly regulated and overseen type of programs within the state, as well as throughout the county. You know, the county is constantly visiting us, checking us. Every year we have Department of Healthcare Services, California, coming in to look at our records and our operations. We have DEA coming in to make sure that, you know, no medications are being misused. We have our federal accreditation every 3 years. They come in and they do a very detailed audit on all our operations, on all aspects of what we do.
I see Catherine. Did you want to speak?
still-
I already put my question in the chat.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I see your hand up. That's why I called you.
And I'm
Sorry.
actually going to read it out loud because I think it's good and it would help. A suggestion would be when providing directions to your location, please have your staff suggest to clients to take College to University Avenue.
These are the things we need to know that we can impart to our patients. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. That would be very helpful. I have a couple more questions for you that are in the chat. How many patients do you expect to see daily? I know you said you can handle 750, but how many would you see on an average day?
Just based on our current census in our Oceanside clinic, we're looking at probably 230 to 255 patients daily.
Okay, thank you.
Now, the thing about our patients, as they progress in treatment, the less they have to come. So that's one thing. So if you see, a lot of our patients will be transferring from other surrounding clinics as well. Some of them may already be, further advanced in their recovery, in their treatment, so they won't be coming to us on a daily basis as well.
Okay, thank you. And then I see what hours will security be working? They will be there when the clinic is open. Is that correct?
They will be shortly there, usually 4:30 a.m. to 2:30 a.m. Just to make sure that there's no stragglers or people, people loitering around after hours.
Okay.
Let's see.
Wait, there's another hand, Judy.
Yes.
Fleischman. Thanks.
I talked to somebody from the Oceanside Clinic, and they told me that they have people who do spend the night. I wondered if that's probably the case with you.
No, we're not. We're an outpatient clinic. We're not a residential program. We do not house any patients.
Okay, thank you.
There's a comment from Vicky regarding the alley behind the building. If it's private property, there should be a plan in advance to deal with encampments in the area. And because none of us want to see homeless back there once a facility opens and have to wait for neighborhood policing.
Oh, absolutely. Believe us, that is high on our priority list. When the state comes out to do their inspection and provide us our initial license, the last thing we want them to be able to see is a homeless encampment in the back. So yeah, we're going to need a lot of help from the city in making sure that that's secured.
And then there's one more question from Terry, and then I have one more online that's a separate question from someone.
Hey, Mark.
Yes.
Again, thank you for your presentation and for answering all the questions. Everyone really appreciates it. In my prior life, I was also a law enforcement officer, and the area that was opened up, the methadone clinic that I was referring to earlier off Elkhorn Boulevard, one of the things that I arranged with their director was, our manager, I'm not quite sure what their title was, but was they allowed an open house so that at a minimum, like the community leaders, whether it be Lynn and Sonia, and then law enforcement as well, and anyone else, if you could arrange that, can at least come in and get a kind of a visual understanding of what's going on prior to you actually beginning the operations. I know that helped me when I was able to walk through the clinic and understand the in and outs that your patients deal with, and then what your staff deals with.
Yes,
that was very important for me as a law enforcement officer, wanting to, again, they didn't have security, so I wanted to provide them as much protection as I would someone outside in the street. So I don't know if that's possible, Melanie, or if you guys could arrange that.
Nothing is impossible. Nothing is impossible. Our strategy is to be very open to the community that we're serving. That will include having, law enforcement have more of a presence. It's a fine line when we're dealing with law enforcement, because we don't want, we don't want patients not getting help because they're afraid of law enforcement, but then we also don't want patients to be vulnerable to the criminal element as well. So there's a very fine line there that we would. So, like I said, for decades, OTP has been done poorly. We're looking to reverse that trend, And
So
that
this
does,
is like prior to you doing business, like an open house prior to,
yes.
so everyone can have an idea of what to expect.
Well,
Thank
we
you.
will have a ribbon cutting event, that's for sure.
Thanks.
You're all going to be invited.
And I had one last question from the chat from Bettina. She wants to know where the majority of your patients are referred from.
Honestly, the majority of our patients that are self-referred, and they all live within the community that we're embedded in. For example, the majority, I would say 83% of our patient census in the Oceanside area reside in the Tri-City area, Vista, Oceanside, Carlsbad. They all live within the 3 to 7 mile radius of our clinic. Many of which have been in and out of treatments, different modalities, and they wind up hearing. We don't spend a single dime on advertising. It is all word of mouth. You know, addicts are also a very close-knit community, and they share whether something is done well as far as treatment goes. So we, you know, the majority of our referrals, all self-referrals. We do get referrals from probation. We do get referrals from other social services, residential treatment programs that may not be doing medication-assisted treatment, mental health programs. We even get referrals from DUI programs. We get referrals for those with private insurance. Sometimes their private insurance will refer them to us. We get referrals from primary care physicians, you know, that discovered that their patients may have an opioid use disorder.
So real quick.
On days where there's early release from school, will there maybe be a way that we can have an officer by, or, because I know if kids are walking to either from school or to home, I know that would be a worry for some parents.
Yeah, absolutely. You know,
thank you. That's it.
What you, like I said, what you need us to do, you let us know, we'll do it.
Last question, do we have a
If I may.
timeline?
Oh, I'm sorry.
A
I didn't see the
timeline?
hand.
No, it's timeline.
Go ahead, Mark.
I'm sorry, what was that?
The question was, do you have a timeline?
We
For
are
opening.
for opening, we're probably looking realistically late spring this year, if not early summer. We've just finalized the contractor to begin. You know, it's not moving as fast as we would like it to. Those of you that maybe work with contractors, you know, there's a lot of negotiations.
Oh, yeah. Okay. All right.
Yes,
So then I'll take that as our last question. I want to thank you very much, Mark.
Thank you all
for
very
coming and
much.
speaking to us.
Really appreciate
We
your input.
appreciate it much. And we appreciate you keeping in contact with us. You are
Absolutely.
welcome to our meetings.
Thank you very much. Yes, absolutely.
We'll add you to our mailing list. You can feel free to drop in.
I also put my email address in the chat. So if you have any questions and follow up, you can reach me via email.
Okay.
Okay. Well, thank you, everybody, for your questions. We're going to do our one last little summary.
I think we're about done.
Let's say you don't want to discuss a little bit about.
I have like 10 pages, so I think.
Oh, yeah, quick summary. Well, generally, we usually do our priorities at this time of the year, things you want to see in the neighborhood that we can work on as a project, right? And then what we do is we then vote on the top 3. What is it? We usually do top 3.
Usually do top 3.
And from there, if we complete those 3, then we'll move on to others. But so what we want you to do is think about the things you would like to see happen in our neighborhood. And so we'll postpone it till our next meeting that we'll start doing the collection of input. Okay.
Okay.
All right.
I'm just going to add to that our top 3 priorities last year, we actually have had movement on all of them this year. This has been one of the best years we've ever had in terms of volunteerism. We had more than 45 volunteers show up for community cleanups this year. I cannot think of any time in the time that I've been with the community council where we've had so many volunteers show up and want to work on cleaning up our community. It's been fantastic. If you were here in September, in October, you know that we're making some progress on the pocket park at College and College Grove. Members approved the design. I have that, I'll show it next time, but the architect took the design from the designer, did the site drawings, and those are with the city now, going through the city approval process. Once those are approved, they will start helping us get funding for both the pocket park and a monument sign. And I have a boatload about traffic calming. We'll talk about that next month.
So I want to thank everybody for coming. I'm glad to see our turnout, and I really hope to see you guys next month. Okay. Thank you very much. And you guys have a good evening.
Thank you.
Bye, everybody on the phone.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye, bye.
All right.
Thank you again.
Bye.
I don't know if I can introduce myself.